Hey everyone, welcome. I think I need to rotate the camera slightly. Excuse me. There we go. There, now we're a little more. Oops. Knock over some stuff. That's always good. Alright, so this is our painting stream that I'm making live adjustments to. What we do here, sorry.
The
Everything
microphone
through?
is falling over.
Yeah, I know. I knocked this over and now it's a little bit of a mess. Alright,
Want me to get some sticky tack or tape or something?
just a wait.
No, weight won't hold that. There.
So, this is our painting stream, which is always very smooth. Luckily, this is a very casual painting stream. So, this is okay. What we're going to be doing today, mostly is painting this fancy building here. These are dungeon tile pieces. You saw us assembling them earlier. And we are going to be painting these. That's not going to hold at all. Alright. These are pieces we 3D print ourselves. They're magnetized, so they slot in together and hold each other together, like so. This is a nice top-down shot of what we have, but these are the tiles. Because our microphone wants to fall over right now, so we're doing a little hot fix. Anyway, we're going to be going with a very different style on this piece today. We 3D print... Here's your flip. We 3D print everything on those printers that are behind me. They're off right now because we're making adjustments to the help protect them, because we had a thunderstorm roll through recently, and we had that thunderstorm roll through, and it caused some issues with our printing process.
Yeah, the power went out.
And we're installing an uninterrupted power supply back there to help protect it. Maybe put a little extra just in case.
Sure.
Since we have it out, I don't want to have our microphone fall over.
Yeah.
Ideally ever. So that's why they're not running right now. We're doing some updates, but we ran out of time before the stream. So here we are. So these dungeon tiles we're going to work on today. I'm going to try a very different style than what we have in the past. I knocked my glove over in my haste to fix the tech things. So, yeah, I think our stand got bumped around for our camera quite a bit when we had a little issue with stuff over there. So, you entertain them.
Oh, okay. Well,
Tell them where we can find attributions.
we can find attributions on all of our social media sites, right?
No.
No.
Website.
DysonDungeons.com.
Yep.
Go there. Find attributions for the things that we print. What I'm going to be doing today, at least starting with, is this is the sarcophagus for one of the necromancer layers, and it's painted in a sandstone color on top and a little darker on the bottom. Just going to give it an umber wash to bring out the detail, make it look a little worn, and then I'm going to paint a brass rim around the edges.
All right.
So what is the weird thing you're doing to this thing?
Red floors, umber wash, dark sand walls with an umber wash, making a
Dark sand, like the
terracotta floor with an adobe wall.
You're still doing wood highlights?
Dark wood highlights.
Mm-hmm. And then steel for the windows.
Yeah, I'm thinking you're going to try the dark aluminum.
Oh, yeah, it's a little lighter.
These are our prototype pieces for a store that we're trying to work on, but we have a lot of finagling to do to get it to that point. So,
I'm getting a little underwashing.
I'm gonna divide up all of these pieces separately into their type here. And I'm gonna put the walls in first. That way I can make a nice clear definition with the floor later. And I'm gonna be going a little quick, so it's gonna be a little messy, but we will get there. Alright, so you can't really see too much because it is just a black primer on this piece right now. But fairly quickly, as I get all of this painted in, and I'm targeting the plaster sections here, but they and this wood part, this wood framing around, is going to get a different color treatment later, so I don't have to worry too much about getting it covered fully on the sides, because they'll get painted over. Alright. I am frazzled today. That tech issue stuff threw me off. If you like what we do here, we have a Patreon that you can check out. We run polls, have behind the scenes footage of our D&D stream, things like that. You can find that at patreon.com/diceanddungeons. Feel free to check that out. It's the best way to support what we do.
And please support us. We need it. We have tech issues.
Thanks.
Like thunderstorms that...
Yes, thunderstorms that stop prints mid-print.
We had to start them 3 times.
Luckily, we do have a generator, but what we need is we need something that can sort of bridge the gap between the generator turning on and the power going out. So we will get that all set up later on. And this dark sand on the black wash is very clearly going to need 2 coats. I can see right away how dark it shows through here. So I'm gonna go through once on all of them, and then the first one should be relatively dry, and I can put a second coat on. Get the cat hairs off. When you have cats, you have cat hairs everywhere. Alright.
I'm just putting the wash on and then brushing it down from the top. So it's like, maybe, water was seeping down or something, and the darker color kind of built up from the tops of the relief. How does the top look? Like, any areas highlighted more?
Try and darken the edge between the sculptural part and the lid.
Yeah, like around there?
Yeah, to try and make it pop a little. That would be my note. Did I do the back side? No, I didn't. This is what happens when you get frazzled by tech issues. You forget to do backsides. So I'll get this coated on quick, and then I'm going to switch back here and do the back portion. There we go. Alright. And these models probably might not, but we do create all of our models that we use on our D&D show. If you'd like to check that out, it's at Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern. Here on Twitch is when it airs, and if you want to see our backlog, go to our website, DiceyDungeons.com, and we have all the podcast and YouTube stuff there. And it's a lot of fun. You should check it out.
Especially when we get almost killed. It just happened only a couple of times.
Recently. Alright, so go into relaxing painting mode now. Okay. Getting out of the solving issues. Yeah, I think that's better. It's supposed to be like a sandstone crypt, yeah, so it should look a little dingy.
Yeah, it dinged up. So clean that brush, let that dry a little bit, and then get out the brass and try to paint the edge without making a mess of everything I've done so far. We'll see how that goes in a little while. So is there anything I can be doing in the meantime?
Do you want to do a door?
And what are we doing with this door?
Oh, I have no idea.
Is it a wooden door?
Make it a solid brass door.
Solid brass.
Yeah, so do bright brass for the insets and regular brass
for the outsets?
For the bars.
Okay, that's interesting. Why not? It'd be brass on.
These are all prototype sets that are using our old design. We have a brand new design, but since we had them, we wanted to practice some color options and do some fun experimentation with them. So we're just trying out new and exciting things. We have another necromancer pit that's gonna happen, another crypt. But I had some ideas for this set, so I wanted to work on it today. Trying to get the inside edges here. You could also do bright brass for the insets, and then we could do like a silver or steel for the bars to sort of offset the brass color.
Yeah.
If you're more interested in that, that's also.
Oh, let's see how this looks. I'm deliberately making a mess of this because I want to make sure
it's covered
the insides of the panel are covered. It's not entirely perfectly accurate because the bar color should go down to the panel.
Was that a hiccup?
But that's a really, more difficult way of painting than we're doing right now. So what we do is we make sure that this covers, and then when we paint the bars, the raised metal part, it actually ends up looking quite nice because you get a nice sharp line of demarcation. And there's nothing better than sharp lines of demarcation.
Nothing?
No. That's just the best thing.
It does help pull everything together. Like, right now this looks like a giant mess, but when we get the wood on at the end, it, suddenly pops together.
Yeah, it's the same principle there. Is making sure that you get coverage so that when you paint the raised parts, which is the wood paneling, you get nice sharp lines without any gaps in the color. This brass covers a whole lot better than the wash did.
It's a bit thicker than a wash.
Okay. Brass on one side. I guess we can experiment with different colors, can't we?
Oh yeah, we can try all sorts of stuff. These are our, let's see what something looks like. You know, obviously we're not gonna paint it like, here's turquoise metal just for fun, yeah. But we want to see what certain color combos actually look like on the model. So if you want to try something a little more interesting, you know.
Mm-hmm. So you're thinking of putting a wash on this floor too then?
Yeah, we'll probably put like a light black wash on it after the fact.
Yeah, just to tone down
the metallics. I find most metallics, other than maybe the steel, you need to tone down slightly after the fact, because, you know, in a fantasy world, there's not a lot of high gloss sort of environments.
Yeah, unless maybe, what, dragonkin?
Dragon scales, you know, magic, some magic crystal things can have high gloss, but, you know, a lot of buildings and stuff aren't going to be super high gloss. So toning down some of the metallics just gives it a more grounded feel, which is kind of nice. Now the door frame here has a very tiny... The door frame has these little tiny spots that I need to sort of work the paint down into.
Oh, yeah, right along the edges.
Along the edges, and that will mostly get covered with wood later, but you need to get that plaster in between those edges. These are a little more pronounced on this side.
Okay, well, we'll let this dry. And then, I don't know, what color do you think you want to try?
You could either do a darker bronze or go for like a metal, like an iron.
We'll do a darker brass on brass to see how that looks.
Making sure I have the right number here. And
Just putting some water in here so that the paint the metallics tend to stick to the bottom of these cups really well, and then you can't reuse them. So just cleaning that up. Nice swirly. No brass swirly things. Such a deal. So we'll let that sit for a bit. And you're thinking like the dark brass for the edges of this crypt.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll take off the glasses so we can see detail up close.
Uh-huh.
Put a drop of brass in this cup. And start painting an edge and see what happens. The worst that can happen is we paint it all over again.
Yep. Repainting is the worst thing that happens.
So this first layer here, like this?
Yeah, wherever you think looks good. Honestly,
that's a nice line of demarcation there. Since we've been talking about demarcated lines.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so there's a pile. Now, because it's a little thin, I'm going to go back to the first one and go back through quick to put a second coat on for this dark sand color. And that'll just bump up because there's a bit of the black primer is showing through. And I want this a little more solid for the wash later. Just to make sure it all looks good. Yeah, it's a little more solid. And this base coating process is a little messy, but it gets the colors in where you need them. That's the key. And I like to try and generally work with the messiest to the least messy sections. Oh, a little dried paint there.
Yeah. There's a shiny rim.
Yeah, that's looking pretty good. And then we'll want... Did you wash the bottom, it looks like?
Mm-hmm.
I think the bottom might need a black wash to really show.
Yeah, it really might. So this is the brass that we're talking about as the contrasting color for the race parts. And since I have it out...
You might as well try it.
Fairly well set. I'm just going to try it on a...
section.
Yeah.
I think that looks kind of neat.
Mm-hmm. Let's see how it looks when it dries. I'll just use up what's in the cup.
Yeah. Go for that. Alright. There we go. I think that's the second to last curved wall. The curved walls take... Oh, I guess I didn't get the inside. It can really... Yeah, the lighter colors can sometimes really take that second coat to get, because the black can really tone them down more than you want.
Mm-hmm. That seems to be what's happening here. It's kind of an interesting effect is that the
bright brass is having the black show through.
Yeah, the bright brass didn't cover quite as well, but it made for an interesting panel color. What do you think?
Yeah, why not? It looks, yeah, it's very toned down from the saturated version, so yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Probably put a little wash on the whole thing. But the inner panels are metallic. I could, if you wanted, put a second coat of the bright brass on. What do you think? You think that's necessary?
Try it on the other side.
On this side?
Yeah, whichever side you want. we're just experimenting. So
Okay, well,
we can see what the difference is. Right?
yeah, well, we'll do it on the same side. And then we'll see the real contrast.
Yeah.
I mean, if worse comes to worse, well, once I put a second coat on this side, we can't uncoat it to make it look like the other side. But it isn't covering that well, so I think I'll do that.
Because I think we can achieve that similar toned down look with a black wash, but maybe a little more controlled.
Mm-hmm.
Because the toned down look is kind of nice. Okay.
I'm putting a second coat of this brass on these panels. And we'll see how that looks. And if it looks good, then we'll just do that and then touch up with the other brass later.
Okay. Coming along on all of these.
I think the bottom needs black wash.
Yeah, it feels like you can't really see the reliefs on it, you know, very well from a distance.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I want to see those a little more, you know?
Okay, well, I'll get out the black wash. Black wash that. Should I black wash the brass too?
Yeah, well, if you feel like it, we can try it.
Or should I
Leave it a little shiny.
Yeah.
It's a why don't we leave it shiny so it stands out a little more because it's a thin line.
Yeah, it's pretty small. Okay.
And we're on our last wall for this second coat. I don't think I actually have enough. Okay. Like a spot. There we go. Okay, so having gotten all of those washed, I'm now going to give them just a second to dry, clean off my brush here. Because this brush likes to get loaded up with paint. I try and use as much of it as I can, but some of it just sticks around in there. See how good I can get the brush clear. This will also give it time to dry a little. I think I'm going to tackle the floor next and then finish. Well, actually, I'm going to tackle the metal frame next, because that tends to be a little on the messier side of things. To do that, I'm going to use this medium brush here, and what I'm going to be doing are these metal panes between the windows. But first I'm going to rinse out this cup so it doesn't dry on the bottom.
So I'm putting the black wash on here, and you can see it does kind of highlight the relief a little better. It'll tone down as it dries. We'll see how that looks.
Okay, I'm back with a cup before. I'm gonna try out this dark aluminum. It needs a good shake, and I only need the window frame pieces for this. So they're all magnetized so they hold together nicely, but I need to get them free from their fellow wall pieces. Get this nice and shaken up. I haven't used it in a while, so it's probably a little, separated. Magnets work through dark magic. Pretty sure. That's what they taught me in school, at least. Dark wizards created magnets. So for this, it's gonna be on set into a wood frame, but I need to get the larger metal frame, the smaller metal frame inside, colored correctly. In this case, I'm going a dark aluminum. I can also use the brush to break up. There's maybe a couple printing threads that appear in here. I'll just use the brush to break those up as I see them. Okay. So there's you can see it a lot better now that it's silvered.
The window?
Yeah. Spot there I missed. And then I like to double check and look over again, make sure I didn't miss any areas. And then flop it around and get to the other side.
So that's a double coat of bright brass.
Yeah, I kind of like it darker, actually.
Yeah, like that?
Yeah.
Like the single coat?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh.
But since we already coated it part way, we could also do it in a different color, just for the time being. But now we kind of know that the two brasses are a little too similar when they're fully coated. Alright, so there's a rough window roughed in on one. I have 3 more to do. A necromancer specializing in magnets. So would it just be Magneto?
Magnificent. Like Maleficent.
But magnets? Magnificent definitely sounds like the DC response to Magneto. Just as a aside there.
So what we can do if we want to keep playing with this,
Yeah.
is we could paint the inside panels steel.
Yeah, why don't we do that?
Make the inside panels steel.
Dark metal, yeah.
And
I like that.
And then the darker brass covers better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's try that.
Let me paint some on this side.
Yeah.
Like maybe down one side. Or
having you do a bunch of work on a single door.
Mm-hmm. Knowing that it looks, weird, so the whole thing will have to get painted over.
Yeah.
So I'm going to paint. Should I paint the middle for contrast, or I'll paint the other side.
Yeah. Why don't you try that? Start that. And then we'll decide whatever one we like at the end and go with it. Sort of a two-tone metal.
Yeah, well, we'll see how this looks. I'm going to paint the insides of these panels steel color. I'm actually going to try to be careful so that I don't
have to redo it.
Yeah.
Alright, there's another window frame. Magneto didn't resurrect dead people. I feel like in the long running history of X-Men, he definitely did at some point.
He could resurrect dead robots, right?
Yeah. Robots are people, right? Probably. At a certain point.
Sure.
I don't know, like... And do androids dream of electric sheep? I don't know. Right?
No.
Is that Philip K. Dick who wrote that one?
Sounds like something.
Aren't
you just supposed to count them, though? And that's the trope, this counting sheet.
I know, but it was a sci-fi, an old sci-fi to do androids dream of electric sheep.
No.
Just no. Is that the only line in the book? It's title and then just no.
Yeah. Well, no, it's
just like your confident declaration of no.
It's just that's it. And you charge $19.95 for the book.
Yeah, Magneto dabbled lightly in necromancy, I'll say. Alright. Going in each of these windows. And then, by the time I'm done with these windows, my walls should be dry enough to start work on the floors. And the floors are gonna look a little weird until I get them washed. Because I'm going for sort of a red terracotta look with these. And they're going to be very red at first, and then I'm going to use an umber wash to tone them down and make them a little more brown. That's my plan, at least. What do you think of that plan?
I think that should be interesting.
It's a very different look from your classical, Western Europe medieval fantasy setting, which I kind of like. I always like to break away from that where I can.
Yeah, otherwise everything looks the same, right? So you're going to do the floors next, and then the wood?
Yeah. Save the wood for last, because I have to be careful with the wood anyway.
Yeah, because you have to be, drawing all those lines on the edges.
There are my silver that out of the way. And I'm gonna use a nice sort of solid red.
So pick one.
Ooh, steel.
You like the steel?
Yeah, I like the steel. Has a good contrast to it.
Well, I'll just keep doing that on this one.
Alright.
And flip it over and do that.
Open up my flat red here. Now what I'm gonna do is go along the edges between the wall and the floor and just try to coat the floor without hitting the wall. And this red is a little thin, so it'll probably also need a second coat. And that's a nice, you can see it's a very vibrant red, but that will get toned down quite a bit, both when it dries and also when it gets umber washed later. And this is the part I have to be the most careful with, is right along the edge, so I'm looking to do that first and come back and do the rest of the tile later. Hey Lady Kachara, thank you for stopping by. Why are you against... Who asks why we're against the red vibing? I'm not anti-red vibing. It can. I'm trying to build a sort of a terracotta look, so this is going to be the base color that I build off of. And it can vibe all at once. Oh, thank you. I hope your day at work is okay. Alright. Going. This is the most delicate part after the wood beams that go on near the end. Because I can always go and clean it up, but the less I have to do that, the better.
So I changed all the door panels on this side to steel. On the other side, I can not be nearly as careful because I haven't painted the...
You haven't painted in the cross beams yet?
Cross beams yet, so I can just slosh this around, which is a whole lot easier.
Yeah. So you can see, this is all part of the process where you start with sort of a messy cover. But you can see even where I'm messed up, got the floors a little messy. Like, I'm going over it now on the floor part with the floor color. So I could afford to just be a little messier with the base coat in the most difficult areas to paint. Whoops. Sometimes when I'm reaching into the pot, I grab a little more paint than I wanted, and I have to clear my brush off a little back into the pot. But when you can't always see the best from where you're sitting, that happens. All right. And if this ends up being too bright of a red, I can always switch to a darker red, like we have the scarlet that we use.
Or mix the red and the orange a little bit.
Yeah, if I need to add a little orange, I can mix it. I generally, if it's a color I end up want to use for production, I generally prefer to avoid mixing it because it, you have to get back to that color over and over. So I prefer methods, I can just lay colors over each other rather than mixing ones, but if this was for like a one-time model that I was gonna do, I could mix the colors to match exactly what I was looking for.
That's a bright kind of orangey red, actually.
It is a fairly orangey red, and I think once it gets toned down with some umber, it might actually have a nice sort of red terracotta look to it.
Yeah. It might need 2 coats though.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it'll need 2 coats.
Yeah. Some of our paints, yellow, red.
The brighter ones tend
not to cover that well.
Yeah. But I want to get this edge defined before I go through everything else, because that is going to make life a lot easier for me down the road. Alright, so
that's now steel. The other side's steel. There's a little bit of touch-up to be done on this side, I think. But I'll get to that when I do the other side, and then I'll be able to paint everything except this tiny bit where I'm clipped on. And I'll catch that.
I think I'm going to switch to the bigger brush for this next section, because I just need that coverage. Because there's a lot of floor here.
Yeah, there's a lot of floor. You might need 3 coats.
I might need 3 coats. This is a very thin red. But it's always easier to add coats than it is to have to redo it completely. You know. So I'll start with that.
One thing you can see is how quickly the appearance changes when the crossbars get painted in.
Mm-hmm.
A nice sharp line.
Although they can't see it at all because you're way off camera.
Am I? Is that better?
Yeah, it's a lot better.
I can't tell.
They're looking at your pants.
It looked like it. No, I guess I can't really tell unless I look up.
You have to look up, yeah.
Yeah.
That's where it falls apart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that is a start, but it's going to need at least 1 more coat, if not more. One thing I like about the Scarlet Red is it's a thicker, more opaque than this. This is very thin.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're starting from black, like we are here, that shows through a lot because it's a darker.
Yeah, we might try, I don't know, when you're done with it, see if we can stir more pigment up in the bottom.
I gave it a good long shake.
Yeah.
Once I get through these floors, and I'll try a second coat, see how that looks. It'll get there eventually. It's just taking a little more than I want it to.
Yeah, we could look for another kind of red.
Yeah, it might be a consideration down the line here.
If you're going to be using it.
If we like the effect, we can work from that idea.
Get a similar color, but a little more coverage.
A little more opaque. Okay.
Painting the edges of the doors.
Mm-hmm. It's so funny to me how these look so like messed up and janky until you put the wood on, and they like suddenly.
All of a sudden, it's yeah, that looks really good.
It's quite a transformation that occurs. But first things first, I need to get these floors in order. And it looks like the first ones I painted are drying up now, which is good, because I'm almost through with the first pass on these. Move in a little with my camera. Last piece for the initial coating.
Tiniest little bit of paint yet. Squeeze it out. So I'm just going to take it from the tip of the bottle. It's just enough. Ta-da! You like that?
Yeah, it's looking good. I like it.
Hey, that's what the door will look
like. Alright, so let's see what happens when I put a second coat on.
Is it working?
I think so.
Yeah, it's better.
It's closer.
It may need 3 though.
It might need...
Fortunately, floors are really quick and easy to paint, I think.
Generally, yeah. They're not too bad.
So I'm kind of done with this. Would you like me to try to paint? I have a broader brush. I could paint a couple too.
If you'd like. Sure. We'll just have to do a little awkward reaching over for the
paint, yeah.
The paint, but that's not.
I'm right-handed and you're left-handed, so that puts it in just the wrong spot. Would you like me to do like give me the flat floors there, and I'll put a glove on so I can hold them without getting too mushy.
And I'm starting to put a little edge color on as well, although it doesn't need to be as intense as
Yeah,
the
but
top.
we want the edges to be finished, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Let me move the camera way over. You can see, yeah, I mean, it's covering much better for the second coat.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it might still need a third.
Yeah. But I don't hate the color it's getting with the slight black
Yeah, I mean,
coming through.
It's actually
But
not too bad.
we'll keep experimenting here. So just as a recap, if anyone new is joining us, these are all pieces that we 3D print ourselves. We use them for Dungeons and Dragons campaign, or some of them at least, get used in our Dungeons and Dragons campaign. Right now we're experimenting with colors for a possible store that we're sort of working on to sell hand-painted dungeon tiles. But our Dungeons and Dragons campaign runs Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern. And we also have podcasts and YouTube of all of the old episodes that you can find on our website, dicendungeons.com.
It's worth watching.
And or listening.
Or that.
Yeah, we have there are two Flash Forge Creator Pros behind us. They're offline right now because we're fitting an uninterrupted power supply onto them because we had some thunderstorms roll through, mess up a couple pieces that we're printing. And so we want to install just something to hold them over if we lose power for a minute so that we can finish the print. But we have to do a little electric fixing before we can get that all.
Apparently we need to switch 2 wires on one of the outlets.
Yeah, we found one of the outlets was wired slightly wrong, which is good to know. But it should be alright. Yeah. Yeah, so we lost a little PLA in the thunderstorm, which, kind of sucks, but it's okay. It wasn't that much. And this should fix it. Luckily, we don't need it to last super long. Our house has a generator on it because losing power happens relatively regularly when we're in the middle, because we're kind of out a ways from larger places. So we have a little generator that kicks on, but if it doesn't kick on the second that the power goes on, then you lose your print. But yeah, we 3D print and assemble all of these dungeon tiles here using those. And we also have a Creality 3 that's not in here that we got to sort of try out, and we use that to print the bases that these are all printed on. It's not quite as nice as these Flash Forges, but it's also a lot cheaper, so kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, for the low resolution kind of stuff.
It's actually got quite good resolution. Its problem is sort of in the bed adhesion and time. It's slow. Oh yeah, resin 3D printing is something we would really like to get into. The big thing we need to figure out though is ventilation and breathing, because it can be quite toxic. So, in the raw form, so you have to have a nice, well-ventilated space and all that, and then you have to like cure it afterwards in a UV bath and stuff. So, with usually something like isopropyl alcohol. But I really love resin printing too, so I would like to figure out a way to get one. And the nice thing about resin printers is they're not quite as expensive as high-end filament deposit like these are. So, yeah, let's see what one more coat does, right?
A third coat?
Yeah. I'll test it here. Yeah, I think if we do one more coat, that'll good. Yeah. If we do one more coat, that will be pretty good.
To do.
Pretty good. I don't know how much the sides need it, but we'll give each of these. Do you want some of the
things that can be done?
Yeah. Go ahead and take those. And we're gonna get all of these nice and
red.
And then this is probably gonna get an umber wash over these to create a sort of terracotta look is the plan. But that will be after we paint in the wood.
It'll be nice when these were printed in like 3 pieces. There's the base, the quarter round floor,
and the
round wall, and then the floor and the wall were glued to the base, and you can see that
they don't
this
always.
One migrated just a little bit.
But our new design has them all joined together, except for the base,
into one piece.
So that can't happen anymore. Which is very nice. I've gotten to do a tiny bit of gluing with the new bases, and I like it a lot. With the new pieces.
Yeah, works really well for you.
It's a lot better. We had to do a couple pieces for the boss fight. Because we didn't have enough large roundy walls in that set. Alright. Yeah, I think once we get this third coat on, they'll be good. Get this. Because I'm looking forward to getting the wood.
Because it makes it look so different.
Oh, good.
Are these third coated?
No, those are the ones you did.
Okay. They're not dry yet.
The only ones that are not third coated are these 3, I think. And those floors.
That one?
I did that one third coated.
Okay.
Alright.
Yeah, once this dries, it really has a nice color.
Yeah, it tones down quite a bit when it dries to make a nice. That should make a good terracotta base color. I would think. We will see. I suppose.
Find out when we do it.
Yep. Alright. Get my brush cleaning. I think the next step will be doing the wood, because I don't want to wash these until they're nice and dry. You don't want to wash on a wet paint, ideally. So once they're sort of dry enough to handle, like this one, we'll start doing the wood on each one. The windows will take the most amount of work because you'll need to define the edge between the wood and the metal frame. But these are gonna suddenly pop, I think. Alright. For the wood, I actually find this medium-sized brush to be the easiest for me to work in. And I'm thinking, I want a dark brown, so I'm thinking using the flat brown.
Yep, that's the darkest one we have.
The alternative would be maybe I could do the leather brown and then darken it, but I think because these are very bright colors, having a dark brown, it's also kind of more in the mission style architecture vibe that we're kind of working off of here. So let me grab a little of this flat brown and I'm going to just carefully put it down along the edge of the floor here. Sorry, did it get on my elbow?
There's no paint there.
Oh, good. Bowed my elbows out a little too far. Alright. Gonna just start with this inside corner tile and see how it goes. These inside corner beams have a lot of little wood grains in them that end up taking a bit more paint than you would expect for the size of the piece.
Yeah, it's like the door frame. You think there's hardly anything there, but it's one takes almost the longest of any of them to paint.
Yeah,
there's so many
little spots.
Yeah, so many spots where two colors come back to each other.
Alright.
Yeah, this brush is going to take a little bit of work.
That yellow one?
Yeah. It's a really nice brush for covering larger areas, but the top half of the top third of it just holds so much paint.
So,
it does not.
Red floor, brown wood. There we go. And I'm really excited to see it on one of these pieces. This still has a couple drying spots on it, but it should be, as long as I don't handle those spots, it should be alright. So I'm just going to go along the top of the wood and try and avoid as best I can the more sand colored parts in order to not have to fix them later. But there's undoubtedly going to be a little bit of cleanup down the road here.
Okay. And I'm going to take this piece of stick. Let's see if I can. Yeah. Doesn't seem to be any pigment stuck to the bottom of the jar. It is what it is.
I think it's just a thinner paint.
Really suited for airbrushing. No, there's some chunks there.
You can see the whole thing start to coming together as I put the wood coat on. It really helps define all the edges. I almost want this as like a even darker color, like a black. The wood.
Could make it black, but the black is really black.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to see what our flat brown looked like. But I feel like it should be even darker than this, you know? Don't you think?
No. We could do that,
The dark gray.
dark, isn't that dark?
No.
No, it would be, no, then it would be gray, not brown.
Well, the wood can be painted. Like, it doesn't have to be natural wood. Like, I think this looks okay, you know, this piece. But I feel like once we tone down the floor and the walls a little bit, like, they're gonna be a little too close.
I could do one in dark gray to see what it looks like.
I'm actually curious to see what one looks like in black.
What about that color?
The sea blue? No, it's too cold. I wanna try black.
Okay, I'll do one in black.
See how it looks.
Maybe
So
not.
I'm not gonna go any further on this color until we make a decision, though, about what color we want it to look like. Because I think in a lot of mission-style buildings, they do just paint the wood black. And I think that if we want to have that look...
You want me to do one, or do you want to do one?
I'm good with either. Whatever you prefer.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and paint one?
Okay.
See how it turns out.
Yeah. This is all about experimenting right now.
Should I do one in the dark gray, just to try it?
We can try it, yeah. Basically, we want to see what looks best with this color combo.
Yeah, so we're basically just painting the sides and the cross pieces on one of these curves, right?
Yeah, I'm just painting the inside on one curve.
Yeah, top and middle.
Top and middle and sides.
Okay, well, easy enough to paint over it. Yeah, these curved walls are good ones to do it with, because you have a lot of surface area.
And you
But
get
they're-
a good
but they're
sense.
fairly easy to paint.
Relatively, yeah. close this up, and then we can do a side-by-side comparison. And
Yeah, this one changes colors quite a lot as it dries.
a lot of the paints do.
Black looks pretty decent.
I kind of like the black. Yeah, you agree?
Yeah. I mean, once it flattens out.
It's a little shiny right now because it's wet still. But you can see it's starting to flatten out. I feel like, I don't know, I kind of like how the black is looking. It's sort of stark, and this is going to get toned down. This is going to get a little toned down with some umber. At least on the floor. Maybe not the wall. But the floor will get a little umber on it. And yeah, why don't we go with black?
Yeah.
I'm gonna set these guys aside so they're gonna have to get painted over, so they need to dry a little. What would you like to tackle? Which pieces? We got the most annoying part are the windows. I'll have to repaint that one.
Yeah, I don't mind doing the windows. I've done...
The door will also be particularly annoying.
Let me do the door frame.
I'm good either with any of them. Whatever pieces you want.
I'll do these.
Do
these. There's nothing to be done on these, so I'm done.
Thank you.
Give me the door frame.
Okay.
You can start on the windows and we'll work our way.
Work our way back?
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, you would think this would be easy, but there's edges here and here, and there and there and there and there and there and yeah.
So at the windows, I'm gonna wanna... The big thing I wanna do is get the edge between the window frame and the frame itself good. You want to do like you take the cap and then periodically shake it?
Yeah, let's start this way. We'll start with the cap.
So I'm going to take a bit of a finer brush here, and my goal will be to...
Am I on camera?
Yeah, you're pretty good. You can't really see the screen, can you?
Well, I can see enough of it. Yeah, I'm really badly nearsighted. Just the opposite of what most old people are.
I'm already farsighted, so I have that to look forward to.
Instead of needing, like, reading glasses to see things up close, you know how people hold things like way over there to read. I can't see anything more than about that far away, about 12 inches away. And it just disappears into a foggy mess. This is really shiny when it goes on.
Yes, it's very glossy, but as you can see, it flattens out a fair amount once it gets washed. Well, not once it gets washed, once it dries.
Yeah, no sense putting wash on this.
Yeah, I don't think the black will need black wash. I'm gonna have this turned upside down.
It's a good thing that it's shiny, because when you're putting it on the black primer,
you can't see anything. these windows do take a minute to get the edging right. Okay, that's one side of the first one. And I know there's still some silver up here, but that's gonna get covered when I do the larger part.
We have some edge that needs to be redded.
Yeah, there'll be a cleanup process on all of these where we go through and...
We missed the back of the door frame.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Going quick, trying out new styles. You can barely see that I did anything on here, but I did clean up the lines between all of the windows and the frame itself. It just, you can't really see all that work yet. But a bright shiny spot is gonna show real bad when I go back to it. So, on to the next one. Oh, I just got red all over my finger. That's just what happens when you're painting. Sometimes you're suddenly covered in paint and you're not 100% sure why.
Okay. Well, need another coating of the bottle cap.
Okay.
When you have a chance. This is how we're sharing paint.
Since reaching across gets a little
difficult when we're opposite-handed.
Is she? It's looking good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the dark that the black brings in. Just prepping these windows. It feels so thankless because you barely see it when it's in the black anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And just getting it cleaned up for the larger coating. You're just like, am I even doing anything?
Yeah. Yeah, it takes the better part of a half hour, right? Yeah, you can't tell.
That you did anything. Yeah, I got a little sloppy there, but that's okay. It's not really noticeable.
Okay.
You got the door frame?
Yep, one door frame.
That looks good.
Yeah, what should I do? Some round ones?
Whichever ones you like. Yeah, that's looking really nice and stately.
It will make this brown become black. Yeah, that dark brown just really didn't
It
work.
didn't set it off.
It's a really nice color for wood, but not for the way we're painting this. I'm not going to paint the edges and the top. I'm going to leave that for a larger brush.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's going to take forever with this brush. We'll just need to remember to do them.
Yeah, it's less obvious when you use a black primer and then paint black. almost done with this last one of the windows. Getting the framing cleaned up.
Yep, and you have to do the wooden parts. Huh?
Yep. But I can switch to a larger brush for that. Okay. Clean my brush off quick. And then I'm going to be switching to this larger brush so that I can start getting the actual, like, parts of it done.
Okay, can you have a chance to paint refresh?
This is looking very stately and pretty, actually. Happy with that.
Yeah, I think once the floors
Get
are done,
toned down a little.
yeah, and not even terribly much.
No, just a nice light umber wash. Introduce a little brown into it, you know? So I'm not going to do the outside edges either, so that we know that all of them need the outside edges. Does that work?
Yep. Yep, so the tops and the
Sides.
sides need large brush finishing.
A little too much. Oh. There. There's more of a finished look for the window. Now to do it for the other side. Alright, coming along here.
Oh, hello, Sophia.
Oh, hi. We have a puppy visitor. Sophie! Come here! Come here! Come here! Sophie! Come over here! Oh, Sophie! Where are you going?
Catchphrase?
Here's a puppy guest. guest star puppy. Alright. Good girl. That's worth just getting distracted for.
Oh, there.
Yeah, it's looking good. So this one's like done, right? Except for the floor.
Yeah.
We'll set that up here.
Yeah. The dark gray isn't bad, but maybe with a black wash it'd be okay, but that would be a real pain to do. And it wouldn't look even. And we want this to look kind of nice.
Oh yeah, this is a very elegant look here.
Make sure she's not in the kitchen.
I think Lexi's down there. Yep. Alright. So that's a little closer to how it's gonna look. Put it with that one. Grab the next one and keep working. Our puppy's wandering around behind me.
Yeah, 50-pound puppy.
Yeah, just a little one.
She's coming close to being a year and a half old now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's closing in on it. Okay. Coming along on our neat looking building.
More paint, please.
And I'm gonna just finish.
Brush a little bit because it's gumming up. And that's how our brass and steel doors turned out.
Yeah, I think that's looking pretty nice, actually. Don't you?
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. That's the side I was working on. Okay. Alright. These take a lot of little detailing to get through.
Yeah, the window frames are the...
They're a little complicated.
Mm-hmm.
Down to halfway through. How is your process going?
These come along really quite well. The outsides are especially easy.
Oh, are you doing the outside edges now? Or the outside?
The outside of the curve.
The back of the piece.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, we probably won't get to the umber wash today.
No. So we want all this black to dry so we don't...
Run it.
Mm-hmm. And we have to do the edges. That'll be easy because it's just big brush stuff. Still. There's 2 of 5. Oh, this one was done on the inside.
That was my prototype of the black.
Oh, okay. I'll finish that.
It's half done. That was the, let's see how this color looks. You know?
And it looked good. So what is the set going to be? I'm not doing maid shops anymore.
Well, we're thinking it will be like a Lord's Manor, because what D&D party doesn't like doing a bit of B&E?
Oh, yeah, especially if you got a ragu.
A ragu? Oh yeah, exactly. And if you get caught,
then you can blame the rogue.
Then you might have to fight your way out. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Or there might be golem-based defenses inside a Lord's Manor, for example. Could also be like a corrupt mayor, you know, like a fancy house, though. That's the thought process. Is that you never fight in a magic shop, you know?
No, but you buy stuff.
So,
of course, you don't really need a set if all you're doing is standing around saying,
I buy this.
Do you have anything on discount today?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So that was sort of the thought process behind that change. As adorable as the set is. You know?
Mm-hmm. It is. Was that the one that was going to have that sigil that's really hard to do?
Mm-hmm.
No, that makes it easier too.
So yeah, this.
On one of our previous shows, we explored the ambiguity in the application of King Midas's touch. And then we talked about the scientific possibility, actually, of Rapunzel, especially if she takes care, like she did in the movie Tangled, to
loop the hair over.
To take the tension off of her scalp, which would have been
bad.
Really bad, yeah. I mean, that was very thoughtful of... I mean, that was a good way to do that, because otherwise...
Yeah. So
people might try that with their long hair. You know, and then it would have been really bad.
Where are you going here?
So, you know, just to wrap up the end today, as we're finishing up today. What should we do? Jack and the Beanstalk?
Mermaids.
Yeah, there was a really, I mean, you got this issue of mermaids, right? Or mer people, things.
Merfolk.
Merfolk. Okay. I guess that works.
What's the issue with merfolk?
We found that out in watching Futurama, when what's his name? I can't remember the character's name.
What you mean with like the eggling?
Yeah, the disturbing interaction between human and merfolk. How that just didn't work out. I mean, unless you just wanted to be friends.
Right. Exactly.
Which I would, I guess, recommend, given that. But yeah, that was... So
where are we going with this?
So could there really be merfolk?
Could there be merfolk? Why not?
Paint, please. That bottle cap is going to be all gummed up.
Oh yeah, this whole bottle's already gummed up, so it's fine.
Yeah.
This is one of our oldest.
You know, we might end up having to get a new one.
I'm sure we will at some point. I'm gonna repaint this brown pillar to black. So that it matches.
He's finished the windows. Nice.
Well, not the sides.
I know, but the hard parts. I mean,
yeah, there's definitely a spot here and there that needs to be cleaned up on all of these. And that is the big cleanup phase that happens at the end, right before you wash. But that part's actually pretty quick and easy. Unless there's a really bad mistake. Right?
Yeah. Even that's, I mean, unless you need to go back and forth a couple of times. Which usually don't.
No, it's usually, you can do such close targeted sort of.
You know, little dots of paint to clean up those spots. But usually just one cleanup round. Unless you're painting something really, like a really intricate figure where you're trying to get paint into a very hard to reach area.
Oh, hey, we have a little kitty looking to spread his fur all over our wet models. I assume.
Yeah. He needs to be perminated again today. I try to do that at least 3 times.
Basically brushing.
Yeah, it's kind of a comb brush.
A comby brush.
That gets the
loose
under layer of hair. And this one will drop a lot of hair.
Yeah. He has a shedder. This piece was set, right? So we're almost through all of these parts, right?
Mm-hmm. Getting really close to being done with this.
With the base coat here.
Mm-hmm.
And then next time we can clean them up and wash the floor with a nice umber to tone down that red a little bit and introduce a little more brown to it. Is the goal. But we are quickly approaching the end of our broadcast here. So I think
So you've got that in this curve, right?
I think once we get through all of those,
you want to bother doing the edges yet today, or?
Well, you're working on that curve. I might work on the edges.
Yeah, you might as well start. That'll go really fast.
And then we can be done with the black, ideally. Barring any cleanup that might need to happen on them. But I think with the black, these are looking really nice. Okay. Now I'm going to clean off this brush, and our goal is going to be just to quickly get the outer edges painted on as well before we finish here, so that they look like this piece. Obviously, these pieces don't have outer edges, and neither does this one. But all of these other ones do. So what I need to do is cover here, here, and here. And this should go fairly quickly as long as I am moderately careful. And this will just finish and clean up each piece.
Oh, it's a little trouble right there. One more refill, I think.
To get the last curve done.
Yep.
And then we will end once we're through all that. Shouldn't take too much longer.
Yeah, you might be pretty much done by the time I'm done.
We're just past 5 here. So.
Yep. Start a little late, go a little late, but not by much. 10 minutes maybe.
Yep. Starting with these curves, because they have the most surface area. Luckily, this part is fairly quick and easy. Make sure it's nice and evenly coated here.
It's a little hard to see because it's all black on black.
It is all black on a black primer, so it can be a little problematic to see. But it is not too bad, all told. Looking to sort of, I can usually get it in a single load of the brush here. And then, once we get all these painted, we'll be able to do next time the cleanup, which shouldn't take all that long, and then wash the red with an umber in order to really tone the floors down a little and introduce some brown coloration to help get that terracotta look. But you want to have everything clean before you do that. Because once you put a wash on, your only real way to backtrack is by repainting.
Yep, basically starting over.
Which is very doable, but not ideal.
But why if you don't have to?
How's that going?
Almost done.
I'm just finishing my last piece here.
This will be ready in a while.
We'll be ready when it's ready.
It'll be done when it's finished.
Alright. In that case, I'm going to take just this loose nail that I have sitting around for whatever reason and take the lintel here. This goes above the door frame. And I'm just gonna put a coat of black paint over the entirety of it.
Huh. Yeah, might as well finish that over. Otherwise, right at the end, you go, oh, now we need to paint that too.
Doing it off camera because I'm setting it on some paper towel in order to not get as much paint as I could on the table. Alright, so all I have left is the piece that my dad here is painting.
Which, as you can see, is almost done.
But
you can watch the progress on camera.
You can see this is a nice sort of stately mission style that we've done. The floors need to be toned down. I think the walls will be kept about the same as they are now. But we'll have to go through, do a little cleanup, especially on the walls. There's once in a while you get a little spot like that one. That just needs a slight touch up. It takes half a second. And now we're ready to do
the last one
and get the outer edges here.
Now I get to clean this brush. Well, we'll see if that seals up. It'll probably seal up, but it might not open again. Okay, clean the brush.
Okay, so get our brushes cleaning, and that is the finished product. I'm going to take some pictures afterwards once they dry. You can check those out on our Instagram, which should be linked below. If you like this, check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/diceanddungeons. Otherwise, you know, do all the stuff that people always ask you to do in every video. You know, like, subscribe, click bells, I don't know. This made a very, like, dark, murky water.
Yeah, you did.
Thank you.
Hot chocolate.
And we will be doing this again Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Otherwise, we have video game streaming. We do most weekdays at 9 p.m. approximately Eastern. I'm putting some of these together so you can sort of see a bit of the completed product. Partially complete product. So the floors will get darkened, but otherwise that's pretty close to how it's going to look.
Yeah, it's going to look really nice.
So, thank you everyone for joining, and we'll see you again soon.
Yep, thank you.